can't wait to do one-on-one with Orion.
Hi guys, welcome to One-on-One with Orion. We have a special guest today, Vikki Wilbon. We are in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We're a little bit away from home, but we are here in Vikki's space, in her arena. So I'm going to allow her to introduce herself at this moment and tell us a little bit about her business.
Hi everyone. Thank you for having me, Orion. This is a pleasure and an honor to be your guest. My name is Vikki Wilbon. I'm a registered nurse by profession. I'm also CCHC certified child care health consultant. I own Rosebud Healthcare and Training. Also, Rosebud Incorporated is my nonprofit, and I trademark with partner Deshaun Smith. Empower Divas, Empower Divas.
All right, tell me a little bit about Rosebud Healthcare.
Rosebud.
What all do you guys do in this beautiful building?
Rosebud Healthcare and Training. So we really don't train much here. I accommodate more to big facilities, big groups, big companies, and I go to them. I do de-escalation techniques, training. I also do CPR. As we mentioned, child care health consultant. I'm certified to teach them medication as well as safety.
Okay.
And in addition to that, since COVID, I am a COVID-19 safety ambassador.
Oh wow! So you got a lot going on.
Right.
You definitely have a lot going on. So with Rosebud Healthcare, you say you don't do a lot actually here. So you're out in the community. You're out in the field doing more work than doing actual office work. So besides actually going out in the field, like you just said, you're a COVID-19 ambassador. So tell me, what does that entail? What does that look like?
COVID-19 ambassador. Before it entailed keeping the client safe because I also am a nurse consultant, healthcare consultant. So I have different facilities, group homes, residential homes, PCAs and MHRs that I consult them and I advise them what to do to keep their clients safe.
Okay.
And healthy.
Oh wow. Okay. And I know I looked on your website, I looked on your Instagram, I looked on your Facebook, tried to do some homework, and I see that, like daily, you have been doing something for the COVID, for the pandemic, for all of the patients here, the people here in Baton Rouge. What all have you been doing? I saw that you guys were doing some giveaways, mass giveaways, and testing. How has the testing been?
So we were the first community-based in Baton Rouge testing facility. It was Rosebud Incorporated, which is my nonprofit, NAACP, and Dr. Garland Green, Dr. Ronnie Whitfield, and Dr. Antoine Keller. We got together and we started testing the community. And so also in opening back up the community, I've also did temperatures for our seniors. I've sent out screening sheets for all type businesses. It's been from nightclubs to daycares to health facilities. I'm also getting the Justice of the Peace Courts ready for their reopening on June the 15th.
Oh wow. Oh wow. So you have a lot. You really have a lot going on top of your Rosebud Healthcare facility.
Right.
Your nonprofit is doing a lot for the community, getting everybody ready. Basically, it seems like that's what you're doing. You're kind of getting them ready to open back up, make sure they're doing the things that they need to do, as far as cleaning, having the equipment and stuff like that. So that seems like the gist of the being an ambassador. Right. Is that correct?
Right. So repetition is key. Okay. And the more people can hear what you need to do, it'll spark. They won't catch it the first time, but maybe they'll catch it the third time.
Because I'm still catching myself going to Walmart without a mask.
Right.
And then I see everybody with a mask, and I say, oh, I guess I forgot my mask. So yeah, the more you do it and the more you see it, the more you hear it, it is going to become.
And with that being said, I want to give a shout out to Cumulus Media because I did an interview with them, radio interview, and they've been blasting me for the last 5 weekends.
So they've been hearing it more.
With things we need to do for COVID.
Okay. So tell me, how did you come about Rosebud Healthcare Facility. How did that become your baby?
Rosebud Healthcare and Training. I actually had 2 of my clients that I have now for 7 years.
Okay.
Rosebud Healthcare and Training was born April 21st, 2019. However, 2 of my clients, it just started with somebody calling me, hey, can you come and see if you can do this? Read over the regs, and I've been doing assessments, and I've actually been being their nurse for a residential home and PCA home for 7 years.
Okay.
So I've been doing it, and people would just gradually pick up on it, and I was like, if God giving it to me like that, what if I help Him and advertise myself?
Right.
And so that's how it was born.
Okay. And so you've actually, your facility has actually been in business now since 2019.
Right.
But you've been doing it well over 7-8 years.
Right.
Are you still doing what would they consider bedside nursing? Do you miss that if you're not doing it? Do you miss bedside nursing?
Well, actually, when you consult with a PCA coming to MHR, you're still doing assessments.
Okay.
So I still have hands-on with my clients. I'm on call 24 hours for some of my facilities. So if something happens, I do have to go out and I do assess them and determine what needs to be done.
Okay. So yeah, you're really doing a lot. You are really doing a lot. Wow. So what has been your key driving force for Rosebud? What keeps you going? What keeps you wanting to do it every single day, especially right now with everything going on? We're losing people.
Right.
People are feeling, not necessarily, probably not as hopeful. Like they don't see past the COVID-19 and stuff like that. So what has been your key driving force to keep going and also make sure your patients and your clients keep going?
Education. Education is key, because if I could touch you, you could touch somebody, and then keep going. It's in our community then. We're touching something, we're making a difference. It's not only my business, it's my passion.
Okay.
And I
Which
think
makes
that
a
on
difference.
purpose. Yeah, I love it. I love teaching, because I think my base is being an adult learner, because I was ADHD.
Okay.
And I'm still ADHD. So I focus on people that learn different ways. And not everybody learn by just reading.
Right.
Everybody doesn't learn by just speaking. So I do a combination. I make them give examples. If I see somebody isn't tuning in, I can spot that. Because if I didn't understand something, I remember I would tune out.
Right.
So I make them repeat. I make them have confidence. And once they get that block out their head, it's free. It's free selling.
Wow. So that's education. Education is you wanting to educate.
Right.
And that's
I
what
want to
keeps you
touch the
going.
next person, and then the next person could touch the next person. So.
With your business, and I know you say you're doing a lot of community work, but you've only been in business now for almost 2 years officially with your facility.
I just made a year in April.
Okay, just made happy birthday, happy anniversary, congratulations.
Right.
But outside of that, you've been doing it for a while, you've been practicing for a while. What have been your marketing techniques? Like, how do people know about Rosebud? Besides you being out there every day, because it seems like you're out there every single day. But how are people hearing about you? How are you building your customer base?
Really, social media has been my friend. I have a lot of people that support me, and I think that comes from not burning bridges. If you treat everybody the way you want to be treated, then even if they're mad with you, they could look back and like, what did she really do?
Right.
What did she do?
They forget about what.
Right. They forget about what they did. They're mad at, but they think about the good things.
Right.
So, even if they jump in a clique or on a bandwagon, they can still refer back to Vikki. Because it's in my heart. I mean, well, if I can't, I help. You wouldn't imagine the calls I get. The COVID-19, I helped so many people that was not my client. I didn't ask for anything. It meant for me to make sure that they were good.
Right.
Because when we're all on the same team, we're all good.
Right.
And I just want
And we all be healthy. That's what's important right now. We gotta make sure we all healthy.
All healthy, all being educated, all pulling each other up. That's the big part.
So how has, this is a little bit outside of that, but since you've been talking about, word of mouth and stuff like that, how has the community in Baton Rouge been? I know in New Orleans, our numbers were high in New Orleans. I know it's been hard in the city. So how are you guys? How's Baton? I don't know how Baton Rouge numbers are, but it's obvious that it's something going on because you're having to do all of the things that you're doing.
Right.
So how's it been
numbers
here?
are high as well. They're coming down. We haven't had any. We're having new cases.
Okay.
However, I think it's controlled. It's controlled because of education. Our mayor and our governor are very avid. They come on every day. They make sure we're doing this. Our mayor and using her platform to get out and educate. I even did a panel with our mayor about COVID-19.
Okay.
So she has been a key driving force for us as far as education, knowing how to keep ourselves safe.
Good. What is, I don't want to keep talking about the COVID-19 piece because that's not what we're here for. We're here to talk about your journey and your business and what Vikki has to bring. But Vikki is in the middle of all of that, and it's just, how do you, being a mom,
My mom's at home with me too.
So you're a caregiver. Okay. So you're a wife. Am I correct? A wife, a mom, a caregiver. You working for you're an ambassador for a major arena right now. COVID-19 is bigger than any of us ever expected.
Right.
So you have so much going on, and you're touching so many people. What do you consider, or what is? I'm sure you don't really have a typical day now because everything is different. Everything changes. Everything. You wake up one morning, you might have something, an agenda, but you get that phone call. So what are the days like for Vikki?
Usually I kind of set I wake up about 4:30, 5 o'clock, and I kind of set my day plan in my mind, or I work the day before on that. I kind of know what's going on, and I prioritize. Yeah, we get those calls. I'm on the phone directing and moderating and things that need to be done more than anything. A lot of my operation is telephone based unless I'm training. Trainings are scheduled.
Right.
Trainings are scheduled, but for me being there, I could maneuver that. So I'm touching. I know about 10 companies a day if it's not by face, by phone.
So before COVID-19, what was Vikki days like? What were you doing before we knew about COVID-19?
Right.
What were you doing? What was Vikki doing?
I was actually moving into this office. We finally got an office, and I was meeting with my clients to get a base to start doing annuals and things, and then everything went haywire. So we had to put policies, procedures in place. So it just depends on what comes down from LDH that day, what's gonna go on.
Because like I said, that changes. That changes every day.
But technology has made it so easy. I could scan it and then I could blast it to like 10 facilities at one time. And then I'll get on the phone and I explain it to them. So
before they brought in all of this digital and technology and all of that, how were you doing it before? You were having to go to those facilities every single day.
Go to those facilities. Like Monday, I have a medication administration class for childcare consultant.
Okay.
I'm able to do that via Zoom.
See,
at first, right. At first, I would have had to go to them because it's a client in Plaquemine. I don't have to cross the river.
Good.
I can stay here in my office.
Don't we love it? So we kind of love the pandemic. It forced us to do some things that we wouldn't have done before.
Right.
How do you generate some of your new ideas? Like, how do you say, I think I want to do a class on this. So I know, how do you come about focusing on one business when you have three, you have three different businesses, and like we said, you're the ambassador for COVID-19. So when you have an idea, how do you generate? How do your ideas come about and you execute them with everything that you have going on?
Usually how the idea comes about, somebody will be like, Vikki, can you do this, that, and so? And I hate the word no. I think we should try before we say no. Like the first time I started speaking to the senior citizens. Oh, would you talk to senior citizens about cardiovascular health? Sure. I Googled it. I got my material and I spoke to the seniors. So ideas come from everywhere. Usually somebody needs something done and just putting a plan forward and going forward. It's crazy.
It's like I feel like I'm going in different directions right now because I want to try to touch all of what you're doing because the world needs to know, not just Baton Rouge, not just Baton Rouge, Louisiana, but everybody needs to know all of the things that you're out here doing. So, it's mind-boggling a little bit, just trying to really pinpoint exactly what it is that we want to talk about. And I know, I think we're tired of hearing about COVID-19, but it is what it is. Like, and so, but you have so much more to offer besides COVID-19. Because when COVID-19 is over, Rosebud is still here.
Right.
So I want you to talk. I want to ask all of those questions. But I know one of the things that really is an important piece right now is when COVID-19 first came about, or even when you first started your business a year ago. You said you just made a year in April. Were there any fears that you ever came across, or when the COVID-19? I'm sure before, right when the pandemic started, and the governor got on TV and said you're on a shutdown. You can't be here. You can't do this. You can't do this. I'm pretty sure that something came across your mind like, oh my God, what am I going to do?
So
what's going to happen to my business?
So the business didn't come in effect. What happened to me was we got the calls from LDH. I have a 8-home group home that it didn't shut down. None of my residential home didn't shut down. My group home didn't shut down. So I never stopped. At that time, my mom was living in an elderly facility, and she's high risk because she's COPD. So they had to get somebody to pack her up. I had to find out what LDH was saying, shoot it out to all the facilities, make sure the PCA companies knew everything they were doing. So it sped me up. I think the only way that I got a little rest because like 3 days I was sick. But yeah, I've been rolling like every day.
So you didn't have room. You didn't have time to be fearful.
But fear. I can talk about fear. When I first started, the fear of just going out on my own, the fear of not having that solid paycheck, the fear of not knowing what to do.
So how did you get past it?
It wasn't me. It was all God. None of this is me. Everything that's been said before me. Despite COVID, I still have to go to Memphis and teach de-escalation techniques. I still have to go to Jackson, Mississippi to teach. I still have my repeaters that need de-escalation techniques.
Wow.
It's been God. In my whole life, you could not have told me that everything that my hands have been on in a year. In a year, the week of Nurses Week or the whole month of May, I actually put all my flyers in a social media. I'm like, oh my God, people, and it's the people God put in my place.
For a reason.
Oh my God, the people that I thought would help me is nowhere near. It's the people that He aligned, the people that He put there just for me. And it makes it so much better. And I'm just thankful. I'm thankful. I'm grateful.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That is so. So 8 years ago, when you got your first client, you know, were you nervous? Were you know, did you have fear then?
Well, actually, no, because it wasn't. I didn't think about it as being a business. You know, I was just doing assessments and checking on these people.
Doing what you
So yeah,
doing what you
I
love
love.
doing.
So I didn't think of it like that. So it has been a struggle. I have had ups and downs of juggling things, but I actually now have a business consultant, and I learned that from We Glow Together.
Well, all right.
All right.
All right.
And I just want to thank you for that whole
Yes.
platform that you made possible, that network.
Just to let you guys know, Vikki was she was a panelist for a session, and she was also a moderator for a session. So she is speaking hands like one-on-one, like her experience with the summit, and to hear that you have gotten since then a business consultant,
Right.
because you realize that you can't do it all.
I cannot do it all.
You realize as an entrepreneur, you need help.
Right, right. Because the last thing I want to do is let down somebody. The last thing I want to do is take something that I'm not equipped to do, and I need help to do that. I know I can reach so many different people and help so many different people.
If you have someone doing the work and you're out there doing what you got to do,
Right.
that's what we fail to realize, that if we wasting time on a computer, you're not touching
That was
lives.
the first thing he said. You're putting in those CPR rosters. You're doing a $10 hour job when you should be teaching. You know, what should be my downtime, I'm still doing other things. So I have a lot to learn, but I thank God for where I came from.
Well, you heard it. So do you think that there's a formula for being a successful business owner? Do you know, some people say, how did Vikki get it? Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. People think that how this person get it is how I'm gonna get it. Do you think that there's a particular formula for being a successful business owner, or do you think trial and error? Like, what would you say your formula was to becoming the successful business owner that you are?
I think that you have to have faith. I think that you need to pray and tap into God daily. You have to know when somebody is for you and when they're not. I think we waste a lot of time running behind the wrong people in the wrong circle. We have to realize who is for us and who is good for us. And once God separates you, stop going back. Stop going back. And through your village, through your circle, you'll learn different things. That's when you know you have a true circle. When you're learning things from each other, when you're helping and you're pushing each other up. If you could go to her because I'm not good at something, and I recruited a young person, they're good, and you can come and say, look, this is what we're doing.
Right.
You know, because we all have the same heart and we all want to help. Other than that, you're in a cage. So when we could break out the cage and get us a circle, and know that God is the center of the circle, then we have the formula for life.
That was one of the things that I said for the We Glow Together Summit. Growing up, they say it takes a village to raise a baby. I feel like it takes a village. It takes your business besties to be successful. You know, you have to surround yourself with business-like women. Women that has the same. Y'all aren't gonna always have the same vision, but you have the same goal, and the goal is to be successful.
Drive.
Yes.
Drive. Somebody that's not gonna they're gonna understand that I'm trying to do research for this RFP instead of going have a drink. Oh, what you doing, girl? What you researching? You know, I have a friend. If I call her, she researching something, and I blurted out what I'm thinking. That's what you're supposed to do.
Accountability.
Right. You're supposed to tell them what you're thinking. You at that point, then get everything together, and you come up with the best solution. I don't care if you're not getting no money from that. That's your friend. When she's better, you're better.
Yeah.
When she touch a platform, that's y'all platform.
Yes. Yes. And I learned that definitely with the Weekly Summit.
Mhm.
Like I was able to work with so many different women. I met so many different women.
It was awesome.
Yes, I thank you, of course. But I really, I learned a lot from that. My goal was to put these women together so they could learn and they can, but I think I learned more than probably some of the people that sat on the summit. Like I learned so much, and but I wouldn't have learned a thing if it wasn't for the speakers. When I tell you, I ran out of space in my notebook. I was writing so many things down, and I honestly cannot wait for the world to open back up because I want to meet all of those ladies. I think that was a powerful group.
Oh, it was
a
awesome.
wonderful group.
It needs to be an annual thing that we
Yes.
get together. But like you said, maybe like 6 months we do maybe like a Zoom like that, because things change so fast.
Yes. And we all have learned from different things, and I would love to see 6 months from now, like you said, we're a month from the event and you've already gotten your business consultant. So 2 months from now, what is it that you probably gonna call me and say, all right, I got this. Like that was the goal, that was the purpose. And I'm happy to know that we accomplished that. I'm happy, I can't wait to hear other people's stories. So, besides all of that, and kudos to what you learned and what step you made. Tell me, because I think I know one, because like I said, I've been doing my research on Miss Vikki, but tell me one of your most satisfying moments of being an entrepreneur.
I think my most satisfying moment was the crew of Ocean Parade. You're gonna make me cry. The crew of Ocean Parade, Rosebud Healthcare and Training had a float. And my sons, they're very modest, but they were having fun. You should have seen the joy on their face. And I told my husband, I said, this is what it's all about. Yeah. When you can do something with your children.
And they
that was
see
the
you.
First black, and that was the first African American parade in North Baton Rouge for us. And I had a float. My children, along with a good friend, did the art on the float. And I had doctors on the float. I had all types of entrepreneurs on the float. And I encouraged them to throw their own paraphernalia. Mm-hmm. Everybody represent yourself. Wear your own shirt. This is not about me. Mm-hmm. It's about our community and us giving back. And that's what it was about. It was so funny. We went through so much stuff in like 20 minutes. And I was fussing at my children. I said, stop throwing so much. They was like, we're givers.
We learned from our mama.
We're givers, and so it's natural for us to just give if somebody asking for something. But to see their face, to enjoy something, and know that I had a part in it, that was satisfying. That was satisfying.
So, you know what I would have said or thought your satisfying moment was? I just read it, and I think this just recently happened, so maybe, it hasn't sunk in yet, because I know that it's new. It's probably still shocking. Like I said, it just probably haven't sunk in yet. But you received an award the other day.
I did.
And that was, close to me, because, I'm the founder of Women Means Business Awards show in New Orleans. And it was amazing. It was a great journey. It was a wonderful thing to do. I honored 18 women in the city.
Wow.
And, when I was looking at your page, I saw the write-up about you. I saw you receiving your award, and you were smiling from ear to ear, girl. I said, look at Vikki. Look at what she's doing.
Wow.
And ain't nothing like somebody else recognizing you.
Right.
We pat ourselves on the back all the time. We we hope our family is out there talking about the greatness that we're doing. But when somebody else recognizes you and somebody else acknowledges what it is that you're doing, especially with all going on,
Right.
you know, it's amazing. It's satisfying.
Right.
So what would you know? What were you thinking? What did that bring about? Like, what did that mean for you?
So when I got the email from Nadia Francois and Sisters of Empowerment, it said that I had been nominated. I was for Empowered Diva Award. I was like, whoa, baby, look, somebody nominated me. First of all, to be recognized was a blow for me. And then when I got the second email and said that I had actually won the award, I was humbled. I was real humbled. I didn't know anyone cared that much. So I still don't know who nominated me. I appreciate them. I appreciate
Tell them, girl, they might be listening.
I appreciate you for nominating me, for even thinking that highly of me. I'm humbled, I'm honored. I want to thank Miss Nadia Francois and Sisters of Empowerment because the event was supposed to happen in March.
Okay.
And so they had to put it off, but they went through the water. They swam to the other side to make sure that we were still honored. And that means a lot because they could have sent us our trophies in the mail.
They kept it moving.
Right, but they didn't. So all of that means something to me, you know, and I don't know if people like take it for granted but it means something to me. It's the little things like that mean something. And I appreciate everybody. I appreciate people that share my Facebook page. In fact, the Empowered Diva Award, that's how I came up with Empowered Divas. And I talked to Deshawn, and I was like, we need to trademark that. And we did. She did the footwork, we trademarked, and we now that's our slogan. Empowered Divas, Empower Divas. It's not just a slogan. It means that you are inclusive. You include everybody. You don't exclude people just because you can. You allow them. You help pick them up. You're actually a sister. The words "I am my sister's keeper" means something. I am my brother's keeper. It means something.
Right.
And it should mean something heart, mind, and soul. And that's what Empowered Divas mean to us.
And she got the award to show it. That's what it means. that's what she does. And that's what, you know, that's what you're behind, empowering others.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you. That's my, you know, that's similar to my slogan for my talk show. I'm empowering women locally to connect them globally.
Come on.
So I want to, you know, it's easy to do something at home.
Come on.
It's easy to do something within your circle that we were just talking about. But when you're actually out there, you know, networking and building up other women, you know, because in today's society, we have so many young ladies that want to compete with one another.
Right.
They want to do better than the next one, or they get upset when someone has taken their idea and all this other type of stuff. And I know, you know, one thing that I remember hearing, if I'm not mistaken, I'm sure I've heard it before, but I know most recently I heard Judy, the owner of Kaleidoscope, say, you know, Kaleidoscope Products, I think that's the name of her business. I remember hearing her say, you know, when you go to Walmart and you look on the bread aisle, they got 20 breads. They got Wonder Bread, Bunny Bread, Walmart's bread. You know, they have all those different breads. And they all selling, right? They all getting off the shelf. Cause I know when pandemic started, in my house we like Bunny Bread.
Right, me too.
But when Bunny Bread was gone, what you got? You got the next thing. But they got people who don't like Bunny Bread. They got people that like the next brand. So, you know, they're just because you see it's saturated or it's it's on the shelf by somebody else. They got somebody that likes your brand. They got somebody that likes what you're doing. So it's okay to want to do something or have a similar idea to the next person.
You know what the Lord just dropped in my spirit?
What?
The Lord will make room for your gift.
Exactly.
The Lord will make
So
room
we
for
shouldn't
your
be
gift.
competing. We shouldn't be worried about what the next
person.
woman have or what the next woman is doing. And, you know, we all should be empowering one another. We all should be networking with one another, because at the end of the day, you know, like my summit, we glow together. The reasoning behind we glow together is when I come up, we come up. You know, we're gonna do it together. I don't plan to. I don't want to be. I don't want to be that lady that make $1 million. I'm gonna claim it right now. I don't want to be a millionaire and then look behind me.
Right.
I want to be a millionaire and remember all of those ladies that's been with me the whole time.
I don't want to be Gail and Oprah.
Yes.
I want us to come up together so we can get some more friends.
So we can do it together, and we can build it together, and we can have our big village.
Right.
Whatever it is that we need to do. So all of those things are so important. And, you know, so being recognized by an organization, Sisters of Empowerment, that says so much. And I really congratulate you. Congratulations to that, because I'm sure that was, you know, that was wonderful to receive. That was wonderful to get that notification, because, you know, being the founder of an award show, some of the ladies that called me were literally in tears, and they were trying to figure out who nominated me, because they wanted to
That's why
throw them a party and all this other type of stuff. Because when that one person
notices,
and all it takes is just one person. So congratulations, girl. That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. And so, you know, with all of that, being a business owner, being an award winner, being in a community, doing all of these things, what advice would you give to that CNA or that LPN that want to be an RN, thinking about being an RN, or thinking about having a healthcare facility? And, you know, this pandemic stuff started March/April or whatever, right at the end of a course. I probably was graduating on May 10th to get that degree, and all of this happened, slowed me down. Now I don't even think I want to be a nurse no more. It's too much. And now I see the nurse friends that I do have, they having to go to the hospital every day. They're getting sick. Like all of those things, of course, you know, when something happens, the devil finds a way to throw all that stuff in front of you and make you want to change your mind. What advice would you give to that CNA or that LPN that want to do that next step, but they've been discouraged?
I would just encourage them. I would tell them to dig deep. Fear is not a God. Step out. Step out of fear. Some things are put in place just to deter us. Don't be deterred.
I think that's what the pandemic was.
Right.
It was to throw us all off. It was to deter us all.
Right.
And some people coming out of this like monsters.
Right.
Some people coming out of this.
Right. And I can actually say, it didn't slow me down at all. I've learned a lot. So many people are being inclusive with me. The calls I get, I'm just humble. I'm humble, but if I could tell them anything, I would tell them to remain humble throughout their journey. Stay steadfast, stay prayed up, and just shoot for the stars. Don't be afraid. I was afraid for so long that I held myself back. We're our own self, our worst enemies.
Right. If you had the chance to start your career over, before Rosebud came about, before Empowered Divas came about, before you even decided to go to nursing school, would you do it all over again?
I would do it all again because I love helping people.
Would you change anything?
Yes, I would start sooner. I would start sooner. I would get out of my fear, get out of myself, and know it's not all about me. Because whatever God has for us, it's not about us. We have to get out of what we don't want to do because He has a bigger plan for not only you, but the people that you're going to touch. So I would get out of myself, stop being scared, and put my first foot forward faster.
You know what I have noticed? I'm sure the girls, the crew can tell you that we've been with 9, 10 other ladies so far, and that question, it's all the same answer.
Really?
I wish I would have started sooner. Like, I haven't heard one entrepreneur say, I don't think I would have did it. It's too much. Like, I haven't really heard that. I've heard all of these ladies say, I wish I would have did it a long time ago. Like, I really wish I would have done it a while ago. And so that's good to know. And that's good feedback for the upcoming entrepreneur or the person who don't know what they want to do. Do it.
Do it.
If the time presents itself, go ahead on and do it.
Even if the time doesn't present itself, because sometimes things are placed to seem as obstacles, and He just wants you to pass the test.
I like that one. I like that one. So that you gotta pass the test.
You gotta pass the test, sister. You gotta pass the test. I know just sitting here, I have tests to pass. And you know, when you're talking to somebody else, you're preaching to yourself. So it's always a word for more than one person when you say it.
Right.
So I hope this is a blessing to more than just me.
So we already know that you would have done it sooner. You wouldn't have changed anything. But right now, would not change anything with what's going on right now, with everything that's going on. Vikki, how is, I don't think I even asked this question, and I don't think it's been normal to ask this question, but I think it's needed because you got so much going on. How is Vikki? Not Rosebud, not the COVID-19 ambassador. As an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you have so much going on, and people might tend to forget to ask, how's Vikki doing? Yeah. What's going on with Vikki? Like, how is Vikki doing with all of this? Are you able to take your breaks? Are you able to do self-care? Are you able to, because I'm sure sitting with me for an hour is like, I gotta go to my next, I gotta do something. So when you step out of that role, how is Vikki and what is Vikki doing?
I feel self-conscious when I actually do something
for you.
Yeah, well, if I do something and I know I have something on my plate, and I feel self-conscious, but Vikki is good. You know why? Because God keeps showing me He has my back. My husband gets a phone call at least 3 times a day and say, guess what happened? Because it's that miraculous. That's what He is doing for me. It's nothing about me. So He makes sure.
So Vikki's good.
He makes sure. He makes sure that I'm good.
That's good, girl.
He truly has me.
He's been with you through the whole journey.
Oh my God, He is so good to me. The things that's happening to me, man couldn't do it. Man couldn't open those doors.
No matter how many degrees you have, no matter how many roles you have,
and speaking of degrees, I just have my associate in nursing.
Wow.
And people's like, oh my God. Because it's not me. What's for you is for you. It's for you.
Girl,
so that's not saying I'm not trying to go back to school, because I also learned we don't get the degrees and the accolades to say we have them. It's so that we can sit at the table, so we can make important decisions for our community. That's what's important.
All right. So I take it Vikki is going to soon be a wife, a mother, a caregiver, an entrepreneur, an educator, and a school student. Because it sounds like you're going to go back.
Right, yeah.
So you're going to back.
applications
So you're going to go through all of that. You're going to have all of that going on. And you're going back to get that degree so you can sit at the table.
Oh, yeah.
The tables that you have, it sounds like you have already created some tables yourself.
Right.
Sounds like you have some tables already.
Things to come.
Yes.
Things to
so,
come.
but you're just trying to sit at some bigger tables.
Trying to make some bigger decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, you know, when you read some of the requirements or the recommendations to some of the things, and bachelor's of nursing come up or a master's in nursing come up, because, you know, I just don't apply, but I know when God want me to have it, I can have it.
And I'm sure some of the things you're doing right now,
Right,
would have required that. You know,
right.
COVID-19 ambassador, a person who, you know, with this pandemic, I'm sure because it threw us all for a loop, I'm sure those people, they want the top notch, they want all of these things, I'm sure. And I'm sure originally you might be like, I can't. But you did it, you're doing it, and it's done.
Right.
So sometimes, you know, that paper.
So
sometimes it's just paper.
Yeah, some of my questions to my husband was like, they could have picked
anybody. Mm-hmm.
But they asked me.
Mm-hmm.
But so that's one of the things, remain humble and always make yourself approachable.
So since you said that, how do you feel? How do you feel when you have to go sell yourself, approach somebody with an idea, and you beating yourself up, telling yourself, I don't have that bachelor's. I don't know if they're gonna pick me. I don't know. But you go in there and do what you gotta do, obviously. But what's your convincing moment? Like, how do you convince yourself that I'm just going for it? Because I know a lot of people that, like you say, see that requirement or see that I know that they're not gonna pick me because I don't have that.
So recently, I just made my own tables. I haven't been reading requirements or recommendations. I've just been creating tables and sitting at tables that I brought forward, and I had the idea. Like the COVID-19, I went to NAACP and I called the doctors and I got them together. That didn't require, it didn't even require my degree, but
it requires your idea, and then they had to go with what you created.
Well, it was a collaborative thing. I was the only lady in that committee. I'm like, oh my God, you know, looking around with powerful men. So God is good, and even if the requirements doesn't say what it is, I tell you to go for it. Go for it, or make your own table around it. Be even better.
I like it. Well, I want to one day sit at Vikkis' table. I don't know about y'all, but I'm gonna sit at Vikkis' table one day. Well, Vikki, we are going to start wrapping up. I have two questions that I would like to ask. One we consider our power question.
Ooh.
But before we ask that one, I guess both of them are considered because it makes you think a little bit. When COVID-19, when the pandemic started and the world stopped and we couldn't do anything, as an entrepreneur, we some of us got fearful, some of us got confused, some of us didn't know what to do. As an entrepreneur, with everything going on right now, what would you suggest that entrepreneurs are doing to get ready for the come up or for the next step? Like what? Because I'm sure we know what you've been doing. You've been working, so you haven't had the time to think about that. But from entrepreneur to entrepreneur, what would you tell me to do? Girl, the world has stopped and you should be doing.
I would tell them to make sure that they have their disadvantaged business enterprise in perspective. I would tell them so they could get bids and they could bid on different jobs. I would tell them to make sure that they're if they didn't have a nonprofit, get a nonprofit. I would tell them to educate themselves on COVID-19 and see what they could do because the federal government has given a lot of money. So it may be something they could tap in their purpose to make it purposeful for the community.
So it sounds like we telling that entrepreneur, get your paperwork together, like get all that back end stuff. Because if you're like some of the entrepreneurs that I know, and you started a business and you just went full force, you probably didn't get that LLC. You probably didn't get that insurance policy. You probably didn't get those things. So it sounds like what you're saying is right now while you on pause, get that together.
Get it together because we don't know what the next big thing gonna be. And we don't want nothing to take us out. We're too strong. So go ahead and get that
get it right.
That foundation right.
That's exactly what it is. That foundation. That's exactly what it is.
Just so happened I have a friend that owns insurance, and my office mate, she knew everything to do. And I also had somebody else that walked me through the LLC part. I messed up and because I went by myself, and that's how I got the incorporated. But it came into play later when I did my nonprofit. So it's okay to mess up. It's okay because you took the step.
Yeah, you took it. Yeah,
you took the step,
and now you might have to fix it, or like you say, it helps you in the long run. It might not have been what you should have gotten at that moment, but now it's what you need.
And to teach somebody else and show them, so they don't have to spend the extra $150. So it's purpose in your madness.
Yeah. So last but not least, we have one of my questions that I love to ask this question because as an entrepreneur, I love to get some feedback, some suggestions. And so Amazon Prime has become my best friend because I've been ordering all of these books. But I like to ask entrepreneurs, give me one book that you have read or maybe even saw on the internet and maybe read it briefly. One book that you think every entrepreneur should be reading.
I think it'll be In Health on Purpose by Nicole Thomas. She's actually Dr. Nicole Thomas now. She's actually one of my advisors. I can call her, trust her, and her book is phenomenal. It helped bring out some of my fears, and it helped me through my journey.
And she's from Baton Rouge? She's from Baton
Rouge, and she actually is an instructor on one of the nursing campuses in New Orleans.
Okay. So definitely, we're going to have to get that book
In Health on Purpose.
In Health on Purpose by Dr. Nicole Thomas. Okay, we're going to look that up. Thank you, Vikki.
Thank you.
It's been an honor. I enjoyed it.
Privilege.
I truly enjoyed it. Thank you for welcoming us in this beautiful facility. Too bad you haven't been able to be here every day. You've been out in the community, but one day you're going to enjoy your office, your space.
Come on.
So thank you for having us. And guys, thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys learned a lot from Vikki. Make sure you find her. But before we do that, we're going to ask Vikki. Vikki, I want you to tune in. I want you to talk to our viewers right now. Tell them where to find you, all your social media, all of that good stuff that we need to find you, to follow you, to support you. Tell us what you have next coming up, any events that you may have that you want the guests to know, the viewers to know, anything about Rosebud or Empower Divas, anything that you want us to know about Vikki and how we can get Vikki.
Okay, so you can find me on www.rosebudhealthcare.net. You can email me at info@rosebudhealthcare.net. You can find me on Facebook at Rosebud Healthcare and Training, and it's at Rosebud HT. And you can also find me on Instagram at Rosebud Healthcare.
Anything coming up?
Yeah.
I know you're doing some giveaways. You got some stuff on. Girl, tell these people.
Right. We have a drive-through Juneteenth event on Saturday. I'm partnered with the Bridge Agency and Mayor Broom and some other people on the flyer, Tammy Boone, Truce. And we've given away some giveaways on Saturday, which is June 13th, I think. And it'll be from 10 to 1. You could drive through. Come pull up. I'm giving away hand sanitizers that is made by my friend at Cosmo Life. You should look it up. She has aloe vera in there, eucalyptus. Your hands, they don't feel the same with that. It doesn't dry. I'll make sure you have some. But that's one of the events. That'll be my Rosebud Incorporated, my nonprofit event. And I'm teaming up. Terry Simmons is my business consultant. And I'm looking forward to all the great things that he's gonna put before me, and I'm looking to sell. We're going up. Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. And you guys, thank you. If anyone is looking to be a guest on One-on-One with Orion, make sure you follow us at Instagram or Facebook under Opulent Productions or One-on-One with Orion. Thank you guys. It's been a wonderful day. Thank you again, Vikki, for having us here.
Thank you.
And you guys stay tuned and have a good day.
Bye.